okay, in this video I'm going to talk about my time in Brazil. So yeah, I took an unexpected flight to Sao Paulo. Obviously my original destination was Costa Rica, but yeah, the universe had other plans for me. If I didn't have so much luggage, I probably would have journeyed my way through the Amazon, into Colombia, wherever, all the way up to Costa Rica. But I had so much stuff, man. I had so much stuff, unfortunately. I mean, I did come out here to live, not just for holidays. So yeah, I brought a lot of different things with me. Again, man, material attachments will weigh you down and limit you, man. Prime example. So yeah, I didn't know much about Sao Paulo other than it was the capital city of Brazil. I have seen some pictures before of like loads of skyscrapers, so I thought it was just like a big London in Latin America. So anyway, so when I arrived, it was raining, man. So I put the two things together. I thought skyscrapers and rain. I was like, that's what I'm trying to get away from. So straight away I was like, oh, what's another option? Rio. So I ended up taking a flight from Sao Paulo as soon as I got there to Rio de Janeiro. So as soon as I landed in Rio, the energy of the people was nice, man. Yeah, the people were really cool. Yeah, the whole vibe of the airport was turned. I can't lie, it was so turned. And this nice woman got talking to me about my tattoos. She started asking me about my tattoos, and she was waiting for her daughter to arrive from somewhere, and they actually chilled with me for about 2 hours. They were helping me get a SIM card and trying to get internet on the SIM cards because I needed to get like an Airbnb and stuff like that and an Uber. And wow, it was really complicated to get a SIM card and get internet over there. So yeah, they're really nice. What an introduction to Brazil. I really got helped out by these people. And yeah, so I took a Uber to the Airbnb really close to Copacabana Beach, and I went to sleep. And the next day I went out onto the main strip. And yeah, it was like really touristy. Like a lot of people was asking me if I wanted to buy weed, that whole thing. And I was like, yeah, like it's nice, but it's not what I came out here for. But yeah, I guess I can still enjoy Rio. And the next day I had to move out the Airbnb because someone else had already booked it. Like I said, I don't like to plan too far in advance. I do stuff by the day. And it's a joke because as I was leaving the Airbnb, the landlord was bringing in someone else. Yeah, she was hot, man. Basically, she was this hot girl, and I was like, oh wow. I was sure she was Brazilian. We didn't speak anyway. We made a little bit of eye contact, and like when we left, because the guy was taking me to another Airbnb, another property he had, which was at the start of the favelas. But I was like, whatever, man. I was like, yo, who's that girl? And he was telling me she's from the north of Brazil, and she came down here to do some like paragliding, some flying thing, something like that. And I was like, wow, man. I rated that. I was like, wow. Obviously, I'm a lone ranger, so anyone that does stuff by themselves and seek adventures by themselves, I really respect that. And I was like, what? I want to do that as well. And I was like, while I'm here, I might as well do something like that. I guess I just wanted her number, really. But yeah, he ended up asking permission to give my number. I got her number. We ended up meeting that evening in a restaurant. And it was funny because she didn't speak a word of English, a word of Spanish. She didn't understand my Spanish. You know, Portuguese and Spanish are very similar languages, but it turns out the people in Brazil didn't really understand any Spanish. So all the time I was out there, I was using a lot of Google Translate. And it was nice because it was like a date setting, and we were getting to know each other for the first time over Google Translate. So you can imagine you had to be really patient. And yeah, it was like here, then yeah, back and forth. And yeah, so she came down to do this flying thing. She came down here to face her fear, and I was like, cool, man. So yeah, the next day we went and done the flying thing. You can see the video on my Instagram. That was cool. And yeah, Rio was nice in the terms of Brazil in general was cheap. So I'm gonna say that from the get-go. Brazil was nice and cheap. I was taking Ubers for like 80p. I think 80p was the minimum charge. I remember looking on the bank thing, which is Uber, like so cheap. I was taking hour-long trips, and the Uber was costing me pennies, like next to nothing. So that was cool. Buying fruit out there, wow, was so cheap. Everything out there was cheap. I was even going to these nice little vegan restaurants, like top-notch ones, and they were cheap. They were costing like £7. One really nice one I went to was about £8. That was in Sao Paulo. We'll get to my time in Sao Paulo. So yeah, like throughout the week I was in Rio, I was chilling with this girl. I guess I felt the sexual energy for sure, but at the time I was heavily on the semen retention, so I was not looking for the sex, but I did feel the sexual energy really strong. I didn't force to make a move, but yeah, it was definitely there. And we were chilling together throughout the whole week, so it was kind of like she was taking a lot of pictures of me, I was taking a lot of pictures of her. When we was out and about, as you can see from my Instagram. And yeah, it got to one night where it was raining, so we done a lot of touristic stuff together. We went and done a lot of touristic stuff together, and we ate a few times together. And yeah, one night it just started raining, man, and I was like, you know what, man, I need to get the hell out of here, man. Like, I'm not a fan of rain. If it's gonna rain anywhere, I'd like it to be in Costa Rica. Like, this is where I wanted to be. So I was like, you know what, I made the decision that yeah, I'm gonna go to Costa Rica, man. Forget this, man, I'm done here. You know, I was getting pretty distracted, I can't lie, man. The whole female thing was kind of like pulling me down a little bit. So yeah, I decided after a week to book a flight to San Jose. So yeah, I left, I went to the airport, and boom, no, you can't fly today, sir. I was like, okay, why? They said, you haven't taken a yellow fever vaccine. Like, if you've been to any African countries or South American countries, if you're flying from these countries, you need to have a yellow fever vaccine. You need to prove that you're vaccinated from this yellow fever thing. I've never heard of yellow fever vaccine. When I was booking the flight, they never said anything about the yellow fever vaccine. So yeah, like, I lost my money, man. It was about £400. I was a bit like, ooh. But again, I already foresaw these hiccups, man. But this one kind of hurt me a bit because I really was ready to go Costa Rica now. So yeah, I ended up going back to Airbnb. I did try to look up other flights, but eventually I was like, you know what, just chill, man, get this damn vaccine, man. I wasn't keen on taking the vaccine, but I had to do what I had to do to come out here. So yeah, I went back into Sao Paulo. And yeah, man, if you see the video on my Instagram, loss of juice, man, I relapsed on the semen retention, and I relapsed hard. So basically I had to take the injection, and looking back now in hindsight, I wish I just paid the nurse, because it was such an unofficial, like, it was such an unofficial little place. I could have just probably paid her and said, yo, look, just write down that I took the vaccine, but I didn't do it, and I had to take the vaccine. So yeah, I had to wait another 10 days. So you have to wait 10 days from having the vaccine. And it was actually cool because I went to explore Sao Paulo, and the image I had in my head of the skyscrapers, that yeah, there was a lot of like big buildings, but Sao Paulo was absolutely beautiful, man. Such a beautiful place. A lot of artwork everywhere on the streets, a lot of different neighborhoods. It is a really big city, and I explored quite a bit. Yes, unfortunately I indulged in a lot of women out there, so yeah, I lost a lot of vital fluids, and this affected my consciousness, obviously. And yeah, like, I started to feel a bit down, man. I started to feel a bit down, but it's funny because I spoke to my friend Yenny, big up Yenny. She was going to Sierra Leone, and she had to take the vaccine also. And she was saying about yeah, the side effects, you know, it messes with the mental. So all these things that was happening was kind of getting me down a bit, man. I just really wanted to get to Costa Rica. But yeah, Sao Paulo and Brazil in general, even in Brazil and Rio, people are like, oh, be careful with your phone, be careful with your chain, your watch. And I was like, look, man, like, to be honest, I felt safer there than I did in London, man. Like London, you got more chance of like crime happening to you, but then again, I don't give off the energy of a victim. You know, I walk really strong and proud, you could say. You know, that's the energy I give off. So if I was a criminal looking to like rob someone, I wouldn't be the kind of person I'd go for personally. So for me, in that sense, it was, I don't know if for a woman or whatever, but I felt pretty safe when I was in Rio. And only once in Sao Paulo, I walked through the main city in the night time, and there was just hella drug addicts everywhere, man. Like, it was kind of, I was kind of ready to go if anything was happening. I was kind of on alert, but yeah, I still rode through there. I took a nice walk. I walked for like an hour and just like kind of walked through the city. But yeah, Brazil was cool. I mean, if I planned to go to Brazil, my itinerary would have been different, and I probably would explore some different parts. But for an unexpected trip, it was cool, man. It was cool. Rio was cool, done some cool things. Sao Paulo, amazing city. If I didn't have like the path to follow, Sao Paulo was somewhere I would like to live for sure. Amazing vegan spots, amazing little neighborhood I found. You can see on my Instagram such cool little things. And yeah, the people were really cool. The people were really cool, man. The females obviously are nice if that's what you're into. The females are really nice. But yeah, it wasn't Costa Rica. I didn't come out here for Brazil. I came for Costa Rica. So yeah, eventually I booked the other flight on the 22nd, man, the 22nd of November. And yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, that's my time in Brazil. I've got a few pictures on my Instagram of my time there, so you can check that out if you want to. But yeah, that day I flew out and I finally made it to Costa Rica. And yeah, quickly before, yeah, no, that's it. That's it. All right, cool. I love you and leave you. Peace.